What's up, guys? My name is Aaron Burke and I'm the youth pastor here at Brownsville Assembly and this year's conference host for Branded by Fire 2008. It is the 12th year of Branded by Fire, and for those of you that weren't here last year, God just showed up in power. We're getting reports back from all of the United States of miracles that have happened, people that have been set free, students that have been empowered to take the gospel message out onto the streets and convenience stores. Just heard a report back a couple weeks ago about a student went into a store, saw a person in a wheelchair, knew that God could heal that person, walked up, prayed for the person in the wheelchair. Total healing and revival breaks out. These are the exciting things that God's doing all over the United States because of the outpouring of His Spirit last year at Branded by Fire. If you weren't there, I want you to check out this clip.
Have you seen Pinky and the Brain? You know what Pinky and the Brain do? Have you seen this show? Come on, this is a youth conference, right? Brother Richard may not have seen Pinky and the Brain, but you know, he's like 65 or something, so I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just met him an hour ago. I'm so, the Lord's gonna strike me. He's not. He's in his early 20s. But, you know the show, it's the two mice who try to, concoct a plan to take over the world, and there's the big, tall, dopey, skinny one, Pinky, and then there's Brain, short, stout, big old head. And they try to concoct a plan to take over the world. It never works, but at the end of every episode, what happens? Pinky turns to Brain and says, "Brain, what are we gonna do tomorrow?" And Brain turns to Pinky and says, "We're going to do the same thing we do every day. Try and take over the world." This is what I'm believing for. Like, I'm believing for an entire generation that thinks like that. Like, they're just in their Christian clubs and they're like, "What are we doing?" They're like, "We're doing what we do every day. We're trying to take over the world." And like, you get up in the morning, you get dressed, you come out, and your mom's like, "Hey, sweetie, what are you gonna do? What are you doing today?" "I'm gonna do what I do every day, Mom. I'm trying to take over the world." You see your friend in the hallway, "Hey, what's going on today?" The same thing that's going on every day. "I'm trying to take over the world." You gotta begin to think like this. You gotta begin to think like God wants cities. He's looking for a city in America. Will you be part of that city? Will you be somebody who believes that your entire campus, because you don't live in reality anymore, because God doesn't live in reality. You're a dreamer now. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to sit there and go, "What would it be like if God used me to take my entire campus? How great would that be?" You just sit there, not in math class, but maybe before you go to math class, and you sit there and you just sit there and you see yourself like laying hands on blind people and they're getting healed. And you see yourself in the gymnasium preaching to the entire place and they're all falling on the ground crying out to God. I mean, you got to begin to dream about this stuff. This is on the heart of God.
I hope you guys enjoyed that short clip from last year's Branded by Fire conference. This year we're expecting even greater things. We're believing that we're going to have a sold-out crowd, and we're bringing in Rick Pino for 2 nights of worship. I don't know if you're familiar with this ministry, go to rickpino.com. God's just using this guy to flow in the miraculous during worship. We are so pumped about what God's going to do. We're taking away the hype, we're taking away the big flash, and all we want is God's presence to move in power and to see students' lives just changed, empowered, sent out to do what God's called us to do, to just rock this generation. I challenge you, check out our podcast next couple of weeks. We're going to have things from our worship team is doing a podcast. We're going to do some fun stuff, get some of our speakers inside about what to expect this year. You want to check back, get updates, check out our promo video. It's awesome this year. See just what God is going to do. And be in prayer for July 7th through July 10th for Branded by Fire. We believe it's going to be an outpouring of God's Spirit here at Brownsville to do supernatural things. And so check out brandedbyfire.org, and we'll see you here in Pensacola, Florida, July 7th, 2008 for Branded by Fire.